What's up, guys? Coming at you from Shenzhen as usual. Drinking a black tea today from Fujian province. I actually haven't been drinking black tea for a while. I almost kind of fell out of love with it for a bit there because there's just so many interesting whites and greens and yellows. But for the past few days, I've been smelling this particular tea in the air. I don't know if somebody nearby is brewing it or it's just my imagination. It is a pretty distinct smell and easy to identify when somebody's brewing it. But regardless, it made me kind of crave it. So I brewed myself up a cup today. And so what I want to talk about today, something more on the negative side and something more on the positive side. Well, negative in terms of some of my concerns. I'm seeing more and more stories of people getting a little bit concerned about how foreign governments are dealing with this coronavirus situation. And I saw an example from somebody I know, quite a close Twitter friend, Carl Zha, who's amazing. You should follow him for a lot of really great China historical topics and things like that. But anyways, on to the main point. His niece came down with a really serious fever in the US. And they were really worried because they had a party and somebody had flown over from Chongqing, which is their original hometown. So they went to multiple clinics and nobody was willing to test her for coronavirus. You would think that with all of those things in mind, that the next step will be, okay, let's check this out. Let's make sure it's not coronavirus. But no, they couldn't find anybody to test her. And then they even called the CDC and they ended up saying, unless you yourself have come back from Wuhan or they have had a contact with a confirmed patient, that's the only circumstances that they'll test. So that's really concerning because it makes me think there's a lot of cases falling through the cracks, and it creates a trickle-on effect, doesn't it? If now his niece, thankfully, is getting better, but if she's now infected other people and it is in fact coronavirus, every single person after that, as it spiders out, won't get tested because nobody had a contact with a confirmed case because nobody's being confirmed, nobody's being tested. So how can you confirm it? And it's a loophole that's just going to potentially spiral out of control. And if you compare that to here right now, you can't even get into your building complex without having your temperature checked. And if you come back with a fever, you get checked really carefully after that. They're taking it really seriously. And the numbers are starting to look good in Shenzhen and outside of Hubei province. It looks like we're getting this under control, but my question is obviously I have concern for the people who are in those overseas countries where this is potentially going to spiral out of control. But then also it's like it's a wasted effort here also. You know, we're not these little individual islands anymore. The world is so connected. If after all of the sacrifice, all of these businesses who've remained closed, we've eliminated it from Shenzhen, it's just going to come back from somewhere else again. And these are some of the things I've been thinking about and I've been really concerned about. And then also for my family, I've got lots of family in the US and Canada, and for anybody really, I'm concerned for them if this is really going to spiral out of control from ongoing mismanagement. So that's the kind of negative or concern out of the way. I'm hearing more and more stories that are quite alarming, which I'll maybe share in some of the next videos. But I'll wrap that one up there. I want to change to something more positive, and I'll start with something funny to lighten the mood with. A few weeks ago, I heard somebody in this neighborhood playing a trumpet, and they were playing it terribly. So I thought it was just some kid doing their music lessons from home now or something. Well, yesterday on my way back from shooting the video at my brew pub, I found him. I found the guy. It's an old man. It's not a kid. It's an old man, and he's terrible. His skills are terrible. His trumpet playing skills are terrible, but he's so adorable that it doesn't matter. He was so nice. He played for me when I recorded the video, and when he asked where I was from, I said from Canada, and he was really excited. A lot of, especially the older generation, when they hear Canada, they think of Bai Zhuwen, a doctor who helped the Chinese many years ago here and died in the field here, and everybody here learns about him in school. And so oftentimes when you say you're from Canada, they kind of get excited and they say, "Oh, Bai Zhuwen," and he was one of them also. Let me play the video for you so you can see who he was and unfortunately how terrible he was playing trumpet. Let me put it in here. So yeah, obviously not the greatest, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, he was so nice, and especially if he's just a guy who's trying to learn at this age, at his age, then hats off to him. That's great. That's really good. Something more positive, because I've been sharing too many stories about what's happening in Hong Kong, because it really is just tragic, where the Hong Kong political parties get angry that the Hong Kong government saved mainlanders off of the Diamond Princess cruise at the same time. And people protesting in the streets with these kind of really distasteful images saying they don't want mainlanders to come over to Hong Kong anymore. And these kinds of things. On a more positive note, what we had just recently was the Shenzhen side here. They committed to donate 1 million masks to Hong Kong, and they're going to add an additional 100,000 every day, which is a really nice. Well, it's really needed too, because I know somebody who works in the hospital authority in Hong Kong, and they contacted me. They said, if I know anybody who can supply masks, they're at a risk of a shortage in Hong Kong. So this is really needed. And also, I think it's a really great way to do things. That what's going on in Hong Kong, and just the select few who are really ruining it for everybody. I should mention, it's quite interesting that even mainstream media has picked up on it too, running articles saying that, wow, this coronavirus has really shown the dark side of these protesters. But despite all of that, the Shenzhen side is leading by example. They're saying, this is what we're supposed to do. This is how we're supposed to come together during a time like this. And yeah, we've got shortage issues here too, but here, we know you guys need this a lot too. So I thought that was really touching and a really great kind of story. And I think there was another positive story I wanted to share. I can't remember. I don't write things down. So let me just wrap it up there, guys. And this is going to be another shorter one. I'm trying to get all my videos under 10 minutes now. So take care. Take all the precautions you should be taking during this time, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.